In the quiet corners of homes across the world, there lies a space often overlooked, seldom visited. A place where shadows linger and whispers of the past echo through the stillness. This space, my friends, is the basement. It is easy to dismiss basements as mere storage areas, cluttered with forgotten boxes and dusty furniture. Yet, beneath their mundane appearances, they harbor something much darker. The basement, with its chill and its shadows, can become a silent terror, a realm where fear takes root and flourishes in the silence. Imagine, if you will, descending the creaking stairs into a basement. The air thickens, the light dims, and an unsettling sensation creeps along your spine. You may brush it aside, telling yourself it's just the darkness playing tricks on your mind. But what if you are not alone? What if the darkness holds secrets, stories of lives once lived, now reduced to mere echoes? Many have felt this unease. There are countless accounts of strange occurrences in basements. Objects moving without explanation, whispers that seem to flutter just beyond the edge of hearing, and shadows that dart just out of sight. These experiences stir a primal fear, a fear of the unknown that lurks in the depths. One such account comes from a young woman named Sarah. After moving into an old Victorian house, she found the basement filled with remnants of the past, old furniture, boxes of clothes, and an array of toys. At first, she viewed it as a treasure trove, a glimpse into another time. However, as the weeks passed, she began to hear soft noises emanating from below. It started with the sound of something shifting, a gentle thud that would echo through the stillness of the night. Curiosity piqued, Sarah decided to investigate. Armed only with a flashlight, she made her way down the stairs. The beam of light cut through the darkness, illuminating cobwebs and dust motes that danced in the air. But it was what she saw next that would haunt her dreams. A figure, fleeting and indistinct, darted behind a stack of boxes. Heart racing, Sarah called out, but silence was her only answer. The sensation of being watched wrapped around her like a cold blanket. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest, a drumbeat of fear urging her to flee. Yet, something compelled her to stay. Perhaps it was the allure of the unknown, the desire to confront whatever lay hidden in the shadows. She pressed forward, compelled by a mixture of dread and curiosity. As she explored deeper, the atmosphere shifted. The air felt heavier, thick with an unexplainable weight. The shadows seemed to stretch and twist, taking on shapes that danced just beyond the reach of her flashlight. It was then that she heard it, a soft whisper, barely audible, yet cutting through the silence like a knife. "Help me." Panic surged through her, and she turned to run, her feet pounding against the concrete floor. But as she reached the stairs, a sudden chill enveloped her, freezing her in place. The whisper grew louder, more insistent. "Help me." What was it that haunted the depths of her basement? Was it a spirit, a remnant of a life lost? Or was it simply her mind playing tricks, fueled by the oppressive darkness surrounding her? Basements have long been associated with fear and the unknown. They are places of confinement, often linked to childhood fears of monsters lurking in the dark. The fear of basements taps into something primal, a deep-seated instinct to avoid the shadows, to stay in the light. In many cultures, basements are viewed as liminal spaces, thresholds between the known and the unknown. They hold the weight of history, often filled with remnants of our past, old photographs, forgotten toys, and relics of lives once lived. Each item carries a story, but it is the silence that often speaks the loudest. Consider the countless stories that exist within these walls. The family who once lived there, their laughter now replaced with silence. The secrets they took with them, buried beneath layers of dust and neglect. Each basement is a tomb of memories, a repository of emotions that can stir to life in the stillness of the night. There's another tale, one that speaks to the very essence of what makes a basement so terrifying. A family moved into a home that had been vacant for years. They were eager to start anew, but soon discovered that their basement had an unsettling history. Neighbors whispered of strange happenings, of lights flickering and doors creaking open on their own. One night, as the family settled in for bed, they heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps coming from the basement. They exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what to do. Curiosity overcame fear, and the father decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight, he descended the stairs, heart pounding in his chest. As he reached the bottom, he felt a rush of cold air envelop him, as if the darkness itself was breathing. The beam of light illuminated the corners, casting long shadows that seemed to reach for him. And then he saw it, a figure standing in the far corner, just out of reach of the light. It was a woman, her face obscured by shadows. She seemed to be staring at him, her eyes wide with an emotion he couldn't quite place. Instinctively, he took a step back, but the figure remained motionless. "What do you want?" he called out, his voice trembling. The figure did not respond, but the air grew heavier, thick with tension. He could feel the weight of her gaze, as if she were trying to communicate something vital. In that moment, he was struck by an overwhelming sense of despair. Without thinking, he turned and fled, racing up the stairs, leaving the basement and its secrets behind. The experience left a mark on him, a lingering sense of unease that never truly faded. For years, he would wake in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, haunted by the memory of the woman in the basement. Who was she? What had happened to her? The questions swirled in his mind, a reminder that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. In the quiet of our own homes, we often forget the stories hidden in the shadows. Basements hold the weight of history, and with that history comes a deep sense of unease. They are places where the past collides with the present, where echoes of lives once lived can still be felt. As we navigate our lives, we may choose to ignore the creeping dread that accompanies a visit to the basement. we may convince ourselves that it is merely a storage area, a place for forgotten items. But as we delve deeper, we are reminded that the darkness can hold more than just dust and cobwebs. The silence of the basement can be deafening, a void that seems to swallow sound and light. It is in that silence that our imagination runs wild, conjuring up images of what might be lurking just out of sight. The mind plays tricks, weaving tales of horror and suspense that can leave us breathless. What if, as you sit in the comforting glow of your living room, something stirs in the depths of your basement? What if the shadows shift and twist, revealing a presence that has been waiting, watching? We may never fully understand what lies beneath. The basement's silent terror remains a mystery, a reminder of the unknown that exists just beyond our perception. It beckons us to confront our fears, to explore the depths of our own minds as much as the depths of our homes. And so, as we conclude this journey into the basement's silent terror, let us remember the stories that linger in the dark corners of our lives. The whispers of the past, the shadows that dance just beyond our reach, and the mysteries that may never be unraveled. As we turn our backs to the darkness, we carry with us the knowledge that within the stillness, something may always be waiting, lurking in the shadows, ready to remind us of the fear that lives in the quiet spaces of our hearts.